Morning, children. Already we learned information about the weathering and erosion. It is in the last class. Today we have learned about the information, transportation and deposition. Today we have learned about the transportation and deposition. Transportation. The eroded material like small rocks, gravel, mud, fine soil, and small content of things. It was eroded and transferred through the water and wind. This kind of situations we have seen the like flooded and some of the huge winds are there. In the situations, some content of mud, gravel, soil, fine soil, this type of things, it can transfer transform from one place to another place. It travel it travel uh, it change place through the two things are there, water and wind. So this kind of situations we call as a transportation. In these conditions, so many things it can transform by the wind and water. Transportation, the eroded material in the form of small rocks, gravel, mud, fine soil, etc., carried by wind and water is called transportation. Rivers and winds and even waves cut soil and rocks from the one place and take them to distant places. Sometimes hundreds of kilometers are there. It carry not only few kilometers, few distance. It carry from one place to another place. So long distance are there, like the nearly 100 kilometers are there. This much of distance it can travel with some of the things like rocks, gravel, mud, fine soil, etc. This condition we call as a transportation. Second thing, deposition. Deposition means some of the things it carry through the rivers and wind and they are dumped in the one place, that is in the oceans or seas, that is in the nearest the enter into the seas, that is we call as a delta area. Deposition. Rivers and wind are carry the material anymore and they dump their plains and river basins. Plains and river basins are formed through the situations when they carry some of the material dumped in the certain place. Then also some of the places formed in the situations, these places like the plains and river basins. So in these situations are done by the wind and rivers. Depending on the nature of the slope, the structure of the rocks, local climate, and human activities. So these four conditions this type of landforms formed. What conditions are there? Nature of the slope, the structure of the rocks, local climate, and human activities. In the situations, plains and river basins formed. Deposition. When the rivers and winds slow down, they do not have the force to carry the material anymore and they dump them. This dumped debris means a small content of things like the small stones and like the it is a like the rock content that is a useful for the growing crops. It is made with black soil, alluvial soil. Debris help to form plains and river basins. Much of it is actually transported by rivers to the sea, where layer after layer of these deposits accumulate in the bottom and over time get transformed into sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks are formed in the depth of the seas or oceans. It was formed and carried by the rivers and winds. In situations, some of the uh, places or things are formed like the plains and river basins. And in the situations, some of the things are formed like the sedimentary rocks. It is in the depth of the seas or oceans. All four aspects of this process are taking place simultaneously in different parts of the world at different rates, depending on the nature of the slope, the structure of the rocks, the local climate, and interference by humans. That is, means human activities. In the situations, some of the things it can form like the river basins and plains and sedimentary rocks.